Welcome back to the Bear Down segment, part of the Coach Steve show, which means Zach is here. We're going to discuss their upcoming game versus the Texans as the Bears leave to take off to play the Houston Texans after being 1-0 by the hair of their chin to be 1-0 to start the season. And Zach, I didn't realize we're recording on 9/11. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Shoot.
Yeah, I kind of didn't think about that until earlier today when I was seeing all the posts and all that. So, bit of a somber day, reflection on that real quick. Can't do an episode on this without mentioning. But yeah, plenty to mourn and reflect on from years gone by.
Yeah, what's crazy is obviously I'm old, so I remember where I was. I was like in 5th or 6th grade, and I could still remember. And being in Central Illinois, we kind of didn't know what was going on. The teachers were kind of upset. It was on the TV. And, you're in 5th, 6th grade. You're kind of like, what's going on? And they even sent us home, like even in Central Illinois, like we're going to go home. My dad worked like 25 minutes away. It took him like an hour because people were trying to get everywhere. It was on the TV and we kind of didn't know. And but another crazy story is my wife's uncle was across the street in the financial building.
Are you serious?
Yes. And because they live in Brooklyn, like her mom's side of the family lives in Brooklyn. Her aunt was on the subway going into New York. And now, of course, they don't have smartphones or anything, so they really didn't know anything was going on.
Mm-hmm.
They get off, and there's this panic, and she said that she was walking to work, and they're like, something isn't right. And then all of a sudden, somebody grabs her and pulls her in a building and says, get in here, blah, 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 blah. Then all of a sudden, that's when the second tower fell, and she could hear it still. And had to walk from New York back to Brooklyn because there was no taxis, no subways. Had to walk all the way back across that bridge and everything. I had to walk because they had flip phones, but there was no cell service. Obviously, it's not what it was. And what's even crazier is then we visited New York in 2015 or 16. We went to the site of it, and it's very eerie. Nobody talks. It's very respectable, and they were building something, and the metal clanged. Her aunt fell to her knees because she has PTSD from still hearing it fall, and this was in 2016. Jesus. And so being in Central Illinois, it affected us, but it really didn't. I started to see, then once I hear her family stories about it, I'm like, oh yeah, and you're actually there. It's like, oh, it's very eerie. So it's and what's crazier, in school, Zach, these kids weren't born yet. Like these kids watched, we showed the videos. They weren't born yet. They were born in 2004, 5, 6. And I'm like, oh, you weren't even born yet.
Yeah, you're at that stage now where you're getting a lot more people a lot more kids coming in now that they don't know anything about this event firsthand or kind of where they were. Just it's a generational thing. I'll be honest with you. Not for mine. I was 6, but I can't tell you a single thing. I don't remember as a kid anything about that.
Yeah.
My mom will tell you about just kind of seeing it on TV. I don't have anyone like your experience where you have a relative related or somewhat connected to that in a way. But anything I've ever talked to her about it, it's a surreal thing in the history of the world, not just in the U.S. history, but history of the world. It's a very surreal moment in our collective being as humanity. So,
yep. And a coach said this. He goes, think about everything that's happened since then. I know you were young, but think of everything that's happened since. We go to war, we have the recession, we have this. Just things start ever since that day. And it's been very weird. And then the craziest thing is since then's been COVID. So it's just always been something.
Right.
Because in 2008, we had the Depression. And I remember gas was $5. And our football coach was like, I'm riding my bike to work. It was 2008. I was a junior in high school. I got my license. I'm driving. Gas goes up to $5. My dad goes, yeah, we may have to think about you driving to school if gas is $5. Or you're not going to go hang out with your friends. You're just driving to school and back or practice and back. And I was like, fair enough.
Right.
My parents said, you work or play sports? And I said, play sports. So they would give me $20 a week to cover gas. And he was like, yeah, I don't know if we could do that right now. I was like, okay. And so gas is $3 something right now. And I was like, I remember when it was $5 and $6 because it was bad.
Oh my God. Don't get me started on gas prices or anything like that. I mean, so I remember my only memories of the recession like that are being at my grandmother's house, and she is a Fox News junkie. Just heads up on that. It's like 24/7 has the channel on. But I remember them talking on like Fox News or like Fox Business. They were talking about the bailout of the auto industry at the time. That one I remember very vividly, the day that they bailed out Chrysler and GM to save them. Which, I mean, you don't think about that anymore, where it's like, what happens if you don't have like I know we don't think companies, but like, imagine if you don't have like Chevrolets on the road or whatever, or like two massive American companies just go under like that, or you have all the banks go under, which is even bigger deal at the time. Like that would be wild. Just 2000s kind of brings a lot of memories back in that way. It's weird because, like I said, I don't have vivid memory of what today's morning is what I can tell you.
Like I said, I do and I don't. I do remember bits and pieces, but again, like when you talk to people that live up here in Chicago, they're like, Chicago was on the list to be hit. So like up here, they were really more affected. In Central Illinois, though, but we were still affected. Like still getting sent home. Like my town is 500 people. Like we still got sent home. They were like, go home. We don't know what's going on. But what's more crazy is the kids, like our kids don't watch documentaries, put a documentary on, they go to sleep in class. This one, they were all like looking at it and they were like, wait, what? And I was like, yeah, you haven't even seen the videos of the people jumping out of the building. And they're like, wait, what? They jumped out of the building. So like they don't know. And it's amazing to me. So I'm like, oh yeah, you guys weren't born yet. You guys don't understand what is going on here. And then they're like, wait, is that real? And I'm like, what do you think? It's CGI? This was 2001. There was, and they were like, look at the camera.
That's heavy.
And I'm like, they're like, why does the camera look weird? I was like, because that was 2001. We didn't have, like, it's funny. The cameras we use now for podcasts is what we had. Like those were back in the day, and they were like, the little ones were like $1,000, $1,500. And you're like, I'm not buying that. I'm going to use a, was it Kodak or whatever, like to get it processed. And so it was just all weird. I wanted to bring that up because it was just very weird. Yeah, even one of the teachers is younger than me, and she's like, oh yeah, I don't really remember. And I'm like, what?
Oh, I can't. Oh my God, that's hard. That's hard to think about that. But that's where we're at. A lot of people have been born in 01, 02 now. Like it's 23, 22 years for a lot of these kids and them, even maybe shorter still. So again, it's a generation now almost gone by.
Well, the best is the guy I work with. He was like, I was a freshman in college when this happened. I said, I was in 5th or 6th grade. He goes, shut the fuck up. He played he played college basketball. So he's like, I was a freshman or something in college or a sophomore. And I was like, I wasn't even in high school yet. And he's like, shut up.
Jesus. Good God.
But yeah.
Hard to believe. Really hard to believe.
Special 9/11. Oh, that sounds bad. We're filming on 9/11. So it's
yeah.
But yeah. All right. Enough of that. Back to the Bears. We have our own problems here. Back to the Bears. They are about to take on the Houston Texans. I believe they are both 1-0.
Yep.
Houston is 1-0. CJ Stroud didn't look quite like last year CJ Stroud, but he, still pretty good. 234 yards and 2 touchdowns. Not too bad. But I know they talked about his struggles a little bit. They ran the ball way better than the Bears did. Mixon had 159 yards of rushing. Collins had 117 yards of reception. So their offense looks like it's clicking already. Kind of where it picked up from. And I believe it's a Sunday night game. So they're going to be prime time. And we talked about the game on Sunday immediately after the game. We've had some time to reflect, try to listen to other people talk. How do we feel now, a couple of days removed from this game? I've heard people talk and say how it wasn't as bad as it may have been. There's still an upside. I listened to people break down the film, and they said Caleb did look kind of hyped up whether it was nervousness or he was just so juiced up that, he could say he wasn't nervous. I think he was. When you watch the film a little bit, I did it. There are moments where you could kind of tell at the beginning he was a little shaky, but how do we feel a couple of days removed?
I mean, look, I did watch the film that you graciously provided, by the way. Thank you. And look, I'll be frank. I think I did have a few things change on just the overall feel of this contest week prior. And it was more I wanted to see the film on this. And I will say Tennessee came in with actually a really great game plan, or their defense is pretty solid in the secondary. Cause I mean, every pass play I kind of watched of the all 22 film, really wasn't getting any separation, which I don't think it's the Bears' talent that's the problem there. Keenan Allen and DJ Moore should be able to easily get away. But I was impressed. The secondary play, a lot of man coverage, but a lot of good man coverage was being played. So it does help play into how, Caleb can't find any options open. So he's got to scramble to the sides and kind of buy time a little bit more. And we did see a lot of that, I will say. So I do give some credit to the Titans defense more. I saw this all 22. Definitely was a good game plan coming in from that side of the ball for the most part. In particular, though, if we go from pass to run, the other thing I took away from this game, and I was wondering if this was the case as well, and it reaffirmed it. This team is not a good zone blocking team for run. It is a downhill blocking team. I was not very impressed with any of the zone runs that I saw. And I do believe that Shane Walder needs to lean more into what is the strength of what that front five has been doing for the last 2 seasons when they've been a collective group under the Eberflus and Poles regime. Make it a downhill running team. I don't want the zones. It feels like people get a little too confused on their assignments or they get a little too slow on reacting to the assignments. And it's caused problems when they've tried to run that. It seemed like their best success was when they were getting guys down and into the second level that had openings instead of trying to kind of maybe find and feel out what they needed to go to, or more so play it close to the pocket to kind of open up lanes. And I think that's what's going to be what is tricky to see if they want to adapt to Shane's system or if they just bail and go into like more of a downhill run scheme. Those are really my main 2 takeaways. Beyond that, just individual performances I can talk a little bit later that I saw that maybe need some improvement, or I was surprised were even worse than I saw in the original watch.
Now, see, I was a little bit the opposite. The wide zone wasn't bad. When I watched their wide zone, that was not too bad. There was a couple times I thought the running back could have changed the angle because wide zone, realistically, the running back has to read the first down lineman back to the second. So when he sees that first guy getting pushed out, his eyes go back to the second. He kind of sees where to go. Because rewatching it, I'm like, the very first run play he did was wide zone, and he got a few yards. And then they do a toss out of it with a wide zone blocking scheme. He got some yards. A little bit later on, they did wide zone. He got back to the line of scrimmage. And I think that's kind of where they'll lean their hat on, but they can't do it the entire game.
Right.
All the other run plays, they did get kind of bottled up on the inside. And I've heard people talk about, they said the center and right guard position really struggled. And when you watch it, the center did struggle, but so did the guard spots. The tackles did pretty good.
I think both guards actually struggled. And that was the one I was going to bring up, and I'll just do it now. Because I know they switched between Davis and Bates throughout the game.
Yep.
I actually thought Tevin Jenkins had kind of a poor game overall too, which was more. I think that was what was shocking in my watch through was he didn't play as well as I thought when I originally watched this game, and I think he could have done a lot better job on some of the traps and some of the kind of diagnosing where to go. There were like 2 or 3 plays I was like, dang, he did not hit the hole very well, or he did not attack his man very well that I expect from him.
Right. Because I'm just going to do it because I'm looking at the clip.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, God. I forgot how to do it. There we
Easy
go.
Now. There we go.
See it? Can we see it?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Okay.
It's on our screen, so.
This is a toss wide zone, so when it's tossed, it's a little different, but like the tackle's trying to get out here. He's trying to help. The center's moving, he's moving, and like I didn't think they blocked it too bad, but this is a situation where I thought the running back could have helped. So like the tackle has to get there. He is aiming there, but if he doesn't get there in 3 steps, he moves on. Center has to pop that shoulder or the guard's got to overtake. This guy on the backside, you kind of don't care. You just kind of want to seal him.
Right.
Then you got this fullback going out to aim for the corner, and the receiver has to block down. So that's why he takes that path. But I think right here they do a good job. Moore does not get to his guy at all. He's like, do I get this guy or do I get this guy? And for me coaching, it's like, leave the corner alone. You've got to get this guy. We have a fullback. But right here, they both go there.
And there's a misread in the block, but then he chips.
Now the running back kind of dances. Swift kind of dances right here. If he planted his foot and got downhill right immediately, if the block wasn't chipped like that, that might be a touchdown.
This one I remember. So right here, that's the thing. I think he gets more yard. He gets the first down if he doesn't just trip on Blasted Jim's feet. But I agree with you that there could have been a much smoother play upfield if assignments are met earlier in the play.
Yeah. The linemen look pretty good. Like I showed my old lineman this clip, like how it's supposed to look. Your hips are what turns, your shoulders are what's taking you there. They're doing what they're supposed to do. Like he's fighting to get to the outside shoulder, and that's what wide zone is.
Right.
It's the receiver that screws this up a little bit.
The edge didn't get secured correctly.
So I don't know if like he's out here, you can't see because of my damn thing. But if he's got a block, and I know that it gets screwed up a little bit, like right here. I know it's tough for a receiver, but he has to come down. Let the fullback go clean up, and then the running back makes a decision. Like, okay, do I play and cut, or can I keep going? And that's kind of what, because they're playing games with him. They're moving around. Then he's like, oh, do I seal him? And that may not be their blocking scheme. Maybe they thought it was something else. But I coach wide zone. I do this, so that's what I would do.
Can you go back and show the from the sideline view of this play? Yeah, because I just want to see how the rewatch, see how the linebackers creep up here. That's more. I mean, that's more like a 46 that I'm looking at there, right?
Yeah, they're in a 4-2-5, and they've walked.
Yeah,
they're in a 4-2-5 type of look because you got your corner, safety, corner, your other safety, and 2 backers. Like they have it all down.
So you already got 5 down linemen, and you also have the edge on this side looking like it's already set to where you're at a disadvantage.
But like you can see DJ Moore, if he cracks down, fullback goes and gets the corner, it would help a lot more. Like he just kind of all that slows him down, and then he trips. Now it's positive yards, so you take it, but like those are little tweaks that can be made. They did another toss where he faked to the fullback and tossed it out. It was wide zone. So rewatching it, there was a much more wide zone game than I thought. And then pass blocking. I can't remember if this is the one. Like he has a pocket, and this is where he overthrows.
Oh, and this is the wheel route, right? Like the first overthrow.
Yeah, and so people complained because if you watch in here, he gets driven back a little bit, and they're like, "Oh, he got in his way." But from coaching a quarterback perspective, if you watch him, he takes this little hop forward, which puts him in a bad spot. So, like right here, he should stay there. Then he does that hop forward, which puts him in to that guy getting pushed back.
I didn't like the footing on that one. Like even with him getting pushed back, you can tell he kind of jittered his feet too much.
So
I should have just committed to it right away because he's looking at that route all the way.
Yeah, I tweet, and then another thing he missed. Is this Odunze who's 15?
That's Odunze, yes.
He's running like a little glance route, like behind right here, and so he could throw it right there. And if you look at it from the side, you'll see what I'm talking about. Like right here, he should have thrown as soon as that break happened, but he was looking there.
Yeah, I mean that there's a chance. I think we're going to go into what you and I've talked in the past, and you've kept me honest. I think that hot route was just the wheel route, and he was going to commit to that one way or another, and even more so once that separation happened.
But like the offensive play call, like that was a decent play call. There was two open guys. You had the wheel route and you had the little glance behind, so he had guys open. And I think if he doesn't do this hop, and this is a play that someone talked about, and I thought about, he's a little nervous. He's a little hyped up.
Mm-hmm.
Right here, plant your foot and throw it already, and then you get that, and it's a touchdown problem.
Well, I mean, shoot, this is the first drive of the game, for God's sake, too.
So, I mean, just that type of stuff. He's a little amped up. Pass protection on that one I thought was fine. The left guard could have gotten inside a little more. Pass protection's good. Bam. So, like, there's good moments. Pass protection was good there. So I don't like how it's the old lineman thing. Oh, every single time he dropped back into coverage or they hit pass, it was bad. No, this is good.
No, there were good pockets. It could be more consistent at times, but there were good pockets. That was a good pocket. That's
a good pocket. That's an awesome throw. That's a tight window throw. He got rid of the ball. He was confident. This is another. That's a fake wide zone. But he puts himself in a bad spot there.
That was an example I felt was on the day really good coverage from Tennessee, which I found more often than not.
It was really good coverage. Like they're faking wide zone. Then it turns into a pass set. Now we get beat right here because he runs there too quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Davis, I think, is 64. He runs way too fast. Like he gets there and then that happens. But that's good coverage. And sometimes they're just going to have better defense than we are on offense.
Something I observed watching this film, I wish Caleb did a better job at doing hard fakes on these play actions. They're pretty lazy play action fakes, which I'm not saying that that's going to dictate a play, but some of the best guys that do kind of bite that extra time, I think, like, I'll be honest, Aaron Rodgers does an excellent job at faking play actions and like getting you to go off a little bit. That I don't want to see lazy play actions because I feel like it just makes defenses go, okay, well, we know you aren't serious. We can tell just by the movement. We're just going to be more honest and play the pass here,
right?
Especially at single back.
Hello, Paper Sports Channel. Hello, Paper. All right, but it's Bears logo, so Bears. Just asking, are you all sold on our play calling, or is it just personnel? They say Shane don't like the run. What do you all think? I think he likes zone runs.
Yes.
I think he likes to RPO it a little bit. I think that he does want to run the football, but the only thing I don't really see, there was motions, but I just didn't see a lot of shifts. I didn't see like two guys moving to the other side. He did motion a little bit. He did more empty than I thought, but if you actually look at the empty stuff, Caleb actually gets the ball quick and gets rid of it. And I don't think he hates the run. I just think he wants the Bears' identity to be the zone game and RPO it because that's kind of where the game's going.
You're taking everything I'm saying. Clearly, this to me, this is a team that was built and has been playing as a downhill run team under Luke Getsy. And is now trying to be adapted as a forward zone running team first, which, I mean, it's not saying you can't make that conversion, but downhill run is go get the freaking guy in front of you. You got an assignment. Zone, I always have felt, and this is me just basing it off the time I played football, and I know I'm not a college player or whatnot, but like I remember when I used to play in high school, like zone read offenses for run game. I always felt it was like, all of you are just going to kind of feel out the situation, which that relies a lot of these linemen, I feel like, kind of trusting and knowing who does what on these type of zone plays in the certain scenarios they run into. That's how I always felt with zone.
Yeah. Zone is still especially inside zone, still an aggressive downhill cutback run game. Wide zone is still a downhill run play. It's just instead of running it at the AB gap moves. You're running downhill more outside. and it's still aggressive, but you start like uncovered and covered. So like this play is wide zone left. So like for me, I would tell the left tackle, hey, is anybody to your left in this zone right here? Cool. When the ball snaps, that's who you're getting to. Left guard is actually uncovered because nobody's in his zone to the left.
Correct.
Center's covered. Right guard is uncovered. The right tackle's covered. And so if it's wide zone and you're completely uncovered, like the right guard, he's going to move. Now, if this guy slants really hard, the ball is snapped. He's been uncovered. If that guy slants into his zone, he's become covered. And so that's where it becomes an aggressive block because now he's in your zone, you better hook on. And then after like 3 steps, if nobody's in your zone, you move on to zone 2, which is that second level.
Mm-hmm.
And like if it was even inside zone, if this was inside zone right, the right tackle is technically covered because this guy's wide. He's going to become shooting down. Right guard's covered. Center is uncovered. Left guard is covered. Left tackle is uncovered. And we read this guy. And so that's just kind of the nature of it. But like if this center or this nose fires off towards the right guard, he's still in the center spot. They become a double team, and that's kind of where it comes from. Mm-hmm. And so it just takes a lot of practice. Like you have to practice it over and over. Like I run this offense in high school. Like I run inside zone wide, or we do, not me, inside zone, wide zone, power, and ISO. That's downhill. So we have our versions of it. And this year I have a brand new offensive line, so I have to do it differently. But last year it would have been, hey, I used to tell him, if he's this far wide, I don't care. Do not block this guy. He's out of the play. I could care less. You two are going to double team this guy to this backer. You two are double teaming. You go here. And I label them. If it's inside zone right, number 50 is the plus linebacker because that's where we're going. Mm-hmm. He's the minus because he's on the backside. So we call it out like plus, deuce to here. You have nobody. So it's just deuce here. Minus. And then the running back's got to make us right. And that's just kind of how it is.
Right. I mean, someone's going to have to, in that case, this is where the edge comes in. You got to get this edge sealed. But, yeah.
Oh, hold on. What's this comment here? Where's my mouse? I'm the worst podcast host.
You're fine. You're doing video. You just got to switch back.
Can we put in the better QB already and not waste this defense?
Well, I hope we're not already into the pitchforks somehow.
What better QB are you talking about? Tyson Bagent, I like him, but is he better? Don't start on this train of like put in a better QB because if you watch his film, he makes bad throws, but he also makes really good throws.
Well, here's my thing. This is where we play into, and I am gonna pull out the atypical cycle of Bears QB card. It's a rookie thing. It's the first game. Now, doesn't mean that's not going to have discussion on Bagent and again, this is where I don't know fully which specific talk we're talking. Are we talking about the better QB as in what's on roster now, or are we trying to bring in the we should never let Fields go discussion? Which actually, that's my answer right there in the chat. Is we're discussing Bagent. So
Bagent, of course, he is better. He was better than that trash can we had last year too.
Oh my God,
I love it,
man!
I love the Fields banter.
That's even with that's even the before seeing incredible preseason performance discussion too, mind you. I mean, don't get me wrong. We have a great backup quarterback in Bagent. I just don't think this discussion is at all and actually, why don't you, while we're at it, let's just pull up let's get some pass play discussion on here while we're at it. Because
I just want to look at this wide zone. I just love it.
Oh yeah,
it's an RPO. Look, bam, cuts it up the field. Bam. That's what it's supposed to look like.
And that's an example of actually Velus Jones. That's a player I got on the radar where I'm like, you know what? If they just keep him as a running back with like passing capability, just make him offensive focused in the role he's here. I actually liked what they did with him.
Oh, this is the horrible play right here.
Well, it's a screen, but Coleman Shelton did not hold up his end of the bargain in enough time. This is why.
Hey, we're not the only ones that said he shouldn't be center. Even CHGO guys were all like,
Coleman Shelton should be benched this week. If he is not replaced by at least Doug Kramer to try, I don't know what you're doing.
Was that Davis actually?
Well, Davis is on.
No, it was
no. It's definitely Colton Shelton's guy.
But see, the guard should even got him too. So I'm trying to defend everybody from an O-lineman. But like if you look at Davis, that like he should have got there. He took a bad angle. But regardless, this is that horrible.
Well, now I'm watching this even for a fourth time, and you can see how it's everyone. But Shelton leaves the line.
Everybody. Another pass play.
This
good move over the pocket. He should have caught that.
Yeah.
Should have caught it.
And you had a few of those drops today or that day where I'm like, if you change it, and actually it was brought up on X that with the adjusted for drops, Caleb ends with a 62% completion rating on the day.
But see, this is different than Justin Fields. Justin Fields would have taken off. He would not have moved up in that pocket, and he would not have like good pocket awareness. Screen, your wide receiver screen for you does not work. That's a key screen.
Yeah, and I think there needs to be a little more variety. I saw way too many similar screen archetypes in this game, and some did work, but you can't consistently go to the well. There's an example of a poor bootleg, I felt. I wish it was more hard sell. Now, credit the edge already has it set and kind of contained, but I want to see more, at least somewhat of a better fake. I don't want to see it where there's 2 yard separation and it never was going to be a handoff.
That's what you want. That's right there. That's Caleb Williams' game too.
It was a high throw, but it was a good adjustment by DJ Moore, and he catches it.
So good pass there. They're going a little up tempo. Good pocket, gets rid of the ball. Good throw. Got out of it.
And we saw in the game, this was one Caleb wanted this up tempo offense too. At times when it was like, okay, we're on a roll. Yeah, he does a real good job of these out routes.
Oh, I mean, when they go empty and they went quick. He got rid of the ball quick. Because, again, I said this for Justin Fields. You got to give him 1 or 2. That's a horrible.
Yeah, this one was a bad one on Darnell Wright.
But we were talking about this as coaches. Like, the defender can just go at your knees. Yeah, so, he's like, damn.
But, you see, one goes lower than the other. That's all that happened there, submarine.
But this is where they slowed it down. And now Justin. Now you got Caleb trying to read everything. They go in man. This is like man cover 0 with a robber because all the defenders are staring at their guy. You have a guy in the middle to pick up somebody.
Yeah, another overthrow. That was the second of the day.
And this is what defenses don't do in the preseason. They don't get in cover 0 because cover 0 is, hey, just pick up your guy. And cover 0 means 28's in no man's land. Like, hey, I'll pick up anything that comes towards me. You guys take your man. That's why he's creeping up. Nobody's in the middle. So he's like, okay, that's mine. He threw that too early. He needs to let that guy run. But again, he's amped up. They slowed things down.
Keep in mind that's Ty Scott he overthrew, like fastest guy on the team. It takes a lot to overthrow someone like that.
This was horrible.
That one, yeah, there's no chance earlier on.
Let's see if there's another pass. Empty. Good pass protection. Got rid of the ball. Like, every time they went empty, he had an opportunity. And look how wide the defensive ends are. They're like, we're going to challenge these tackles. And they got them. Like, I know they're getting pushed back, but that's still a pocket. I don't care what people say. Like, it's so hard to not get bull rushed when they're that wide.
Right. I didn't have a problem with that play. Good relatively decent pocket. Ball gets out. It's a tight window, but he fits it in well. He's got a good zip on the ball.
This was horrible by the running back. I blame the running back for this. This is inside zone.
Yeah, let's see. Got to find the hole a bit better.
It's inside zone, so he's getting the ball, and he keeps running this way. What he needs to do is look to cut it back here, or if he's patient, he could have tried it in this hole, or he could have pressed it this way.
Now, see, while I'm with you here, Steve, this is why I also am not 100% a fan of the zone, because this basically just looks like a pass play. Downhill running, you get your guys buried 2 yards back. You're already having the momentum go the opposite direction. Like, I don't like zone in that regard if you're calling it in this sense, because it's relying on the fact that the hole just kind of magically opens up where you need it to be if you're trying to kind of mimic that pass style, and that didn't work there. If it's downhill, to me, you're getting those yards easy, and you don't have to worry about Herbert getting jammed up there.
This guy's made a lot of comments. So many bad balls, and he's getting our receivers hurt. What receiver did he get hurt on purpose? I don't understand that comment. Odunze got rolled up on, which is not Caleb's fault.
I appreciate all the comments, though. Ghost of
Oh,
Junior
no.
Tribe.
He can't throw over the middle, so Komet is irrelevant. That's why he's mad. I don't think Komet is mad, actually. If you listen to his podcast on CHGO, he's really not. 2, he can't stay in the pocket and throw. He sucks. Just roll his sorry ass out and let him. Did you not just see all the pocket plays? He actually stands in the pocket and throws the ball. Film don't lie. But I do appreciate all the comments. This is how receivers get hurt, overthrown, and he's definitely got DJ Moore hurt on that one catch. What one? Zach, do you know what he's talking about? That slant?
Well, I was trying to track him while we're viewing. I think he was actually, I believe he was talking about the one over the middle that I was just referencing was a tight window.
This is the NFL. You got that's going to happen. Like tight throws. Put Bajan in. I've seen enough. Belichick was right. He's inaccurate and erratic. He needs to sit and watch. I mean,
keep in mind, Bajan's also only a 2-year player, so you're not really getting veteran presence if you switch. It's only someone that's like a little longer in the regime with no offensive coordinator related to him. So I like Tyson. That's all I can tell you. This was a good job reading the run, by the way. Yeah, it's funny. This was immediately after what I considered a poor zone run with poor reading of the pocket or of the hole.
Oh yeah, this is beautifully ran. He sees it's clogged, cuts it back, gets something out of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what you want from inside zone. I'm not pulling that guy's comments up. Keep commenting, but it's just the same thing. Put Bajan in. There's no proof. Empty, good pocket.
That one was a terrible throw.
Yep.
Like I'm not even gonna. You can't sugarcoat that. I thought that when the play happened. Watching it again, it was just completely horrible. Low ball ahead of DJ. Lucky to even get batted up in the air, honestly. It could have just been dead in the dirt.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably the worst. That was honestly, to me, the worst pass he had all day.
It was, but I'm glad how he stands in the pocket. Like he stands in the pocket. He's looking to get rid of the ball. And that's an improvement from what we had with Fields. Good throw there to Komet.
Yeah.
Like that's what you want.
And then the next one's the one that really makes me want to just punch air.
Yes.
And it's not because of Caleb, it's because of the most veteran receiver on roster decides that a perfectly placed ball is not good enough.
But like when they go empty,
because here it is right here. Here's the out route that I get so angry about.
Empty, quick out route.
Perfect placement. Why is Kean not catch it? That's the route that you bring him in for. Right there. One of them. Perfectly placed.
The ghost of Tribe. I'm glad you keep commenting. He goes, all these terrible. This is good. Good pocket, perfectly placed. Got to catch it.
That was the lone touchdown should have happened on the day offensively.
Good wide zone. I think wide zone is their play.
I still think they're better as a downhill running team just based on 2 years of film.
Oh no, I agree. I just think wide zone is going to be good for them with Swift. I know this isn't Swift doing it, but how fast he is. But then you got to get some other downhill. The ghost of wobbly ball. So let me ask you this: the ghost of whatever Tribe. Are you a quarterback coach? Tell me how he would fix a ball like that. Let me know how to fix a ball like that since you're the coach. Let me know. I thought it was placed perfectly.
Look, I think we'll have to. I think it'll be up to film to decide. Now, this is another one I'm curious. I felt this was miscommunication, but I also remember on watching this pass, while it was in the moment, that it was a bad throw. So it's very 50-50 to me.
I think
it looks like he wants Keenan to go farther here.
Yeah, I think it was both. I think he thought he was going to keep coming.
Yeah.
Hello, Paper Sports Channel. I'm a 40-plus years Bears fan. I support whoever QB1 is, but this kid here's got so much room to grow. Why people hate this kid. Glad we won a blind man. And can see this kid special. Yeah, we see, like, there's glimpses of it.
Yeah. Honestly, if that wheel route lands, it would have been highlight of the day. I want to see what happens when he calms down. To credit, better opponent next week is the thing. But a few of these were just off by a tad. The
But, like,
pocket
right there,
presence. Wait, what happened there? You seem to jump a little bit.
no, sorry. I was just saying, like, good pocket. It was a hitch. Got rid of the ball, caught it in a tight window.
Mm-hmm.
Faked the
Again,
wide
I
zone
want a better
again.
fake. I know that it's not supposed to be a run. I know it's silly, but I hate how it's so lazily faked, these plays.
Right,
Like, commit to the bit.
and this is kind of what you and I touched on a little bit, was like at USC, you're in shotgun, you do the zone play action from shotgun. To do it under center is a little different.
And credit, the edge already gets blown up by the time he's back and trying to look downfield. But again, that's not always going to be the case, and it makes to me, it feels like it's an easy way of saying, oh, look, the running back's not even taking it serious, nor is the quarterback. Like, we're just going to sit back. The whole point of a play action is to bring some of the defense a little closer to the line so you can hope separate some of the layers a bit better that are deeper in the second or third level. So without a good fake, you're just basically keeping the whole defense stagnant where they want to be. And I just don't like seeing that.
And then another tip ball. There was a lot of tip balls in this game. And I could turn the film off, but I'm just like rewatching it again. And I'm like, things aren't as bad as they seemed, but then there's still things. But all the stuff we're seeing is fixable. Like, this is fixable things.
That one, that one's more, it does need to get up higher, but also then you're taught as a lineman to bat down hands, and credit is Shelton and Davis, who didn't have particularly strong days on the field.
But then it's kind of like last year when you keep rotating guys in at O-line, they can't build this.
I didn't get that either. And actually, that's something this film revealed too. Why did they re-rotate Bates and Davis? Just pick one. Neither one of them had a particularly good day. Just pick one and stick with one.
Right, because then you can't get the cohesiveness. There's this communication piece that people don't understand. So when you keep subbing O-linemen, like,
well, and hell, Steve, and here's one. Can we highlight this play, by the way? Let's go back and watch this. This one I watched extensively a lot, especially this angle. So first things first, look at the front four, super wide out on the edges.
This was their game plan the whole time. Like, we're going to get wide.
Right. I mean, they wind these guys up. The edge is going to always be tough. So it starts out fine. Okay, protection's fine. Keep it paused. So I want you to look at Coleman Shelton. Shelton, I think, up until right here, is doing his job fine. So in pass protection, you want to keep a shell.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be keeping your zone covered up. Now, clearly what I think happens, he reads, he goes, there's no one in front of me. I'm going to start trying to assist. Problem is, you can't do that because eventually something might happen. This is where in part of the play, things break down, things become impromptu. The reason you do a pass protection shell like this is you maintain your area until something comes across your face. He did not maintain his area. He got too greedy.
Yep.
This is what allows the inside rush.
Especially when what I don't understand is you have two guys blocking one. So if he does go out and he decides to come in, that's what you're like. And the linemen are supposed to yell that. Like, I know it's late, and I'm sure in the NFL they practice it a little differently than high school. Like,
right. Well, keep in mind too, you don't have that protection on the strong side. That you have a chip, but it goes away relatively quickly. Homer's not looking over here. And so the center has to stay in his contain. I know that he's not thinking it's going to be someone that wide out coming in.
Right.
But you shouldn't be bailing on your zone. I see this a lot with Bears film the last few years, where like part of the problem is they don't have a center that respects his gap and expects to wait and be patient for someone to come into that zone. It's still too early in the play to be bailing on your portion of that shell to do that.
And this play right here, this fake toss, I've never been a fan of ever. Ever.
Yeah. No,
I get why, but I'm not a fan of it. But again, I want to see what happens in empty, because every time they went empty.
So that time they bailed out one of their interior linemen into protection.
But he has time. Like, like, I know we don't complete the pass, but I'm looking at the pocket presence. And every time we went empty, he pretty much had time.
Yeah, so they let 97 bail out, kind of covers up Komet. He wanted Komet, you can tell. He just couldn't get him.
Right.
And then he just tries to throw it best he can to DJ there. This is the play that DJ gets riled up, by the way.
Is that when he gets hurt?
That's when he goes off the field for a little bit.
So I want to hear this quarterback guru in the chat. Like, what's he supposed to do? Like, he sees DJ
Komet's covered. There's no way you're going to go to him.
This is football, man. Like, that's going to happen.
That was just good coverage. That's a play I highlight as a great coverage play by the Tennessee Titans, honestly. And I think I think Judith Tribe is saying that's the one he was talking about for the injury.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Love it.
That was a clutch run.
Love it.
Had nowhere to go. Just basically tuck it and run, of course. Oh, never mind. It wasn't that pass. It was probably the one earlier with the slant that we talked about. But anyway.
But that's going to happen. I don't understand, people. Why are you guys so dumb? Good wide zone. I'm telling you, wide zone's it for this team right now.
Wide zone's fine. I mean, yes, that's fine, but they shouldn't be doing interior. I want them to do downhill running if it's interior runs.
It doesn't matter what you want. It's what I want.
It's what makes things better. This team's better when it's doing downhill running.
Out routes he was on point for.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like he has more passing yards than 90 or whatever he had.
Well, maybe more because it was air yards you could probably talk about.
Well, I guess he threw a lot of screens too. That kind of.
Well, again, this comes back to this comes back to variety of plays. You can't call that many screens because eventually it just gets caught up to you. You're going to get those red like a book.
DJ Moore's back in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So he's fine. See, these are on money. Like,
yeah, this one was another one that it seemed like they were getting on a roll.
They played a lot of man.
Passing.
They played a lot of man to try to confuse him. They're going to disguise it as like cover 2 or anything. They're going to play man.
Mm-hmm.
They got wide because they thought that the Bears couldn't pick up the pass protection. Their defense has some athletes, so I'm not going to take anything away from the Titans.
No. Tennessee defensively, I was more impressed by their performance overall because, yeah, their man coverage is really good. Not going to lie. This one, solid draw play. Yeah, solid draw play.
You let me know when to stop the film, but like I think.
No, I mean I guess I'm mesmerized just talking. It's good conversation. I feel like, and in particular, I like this because again, look. He committed to the bit. He played it was going to be a fake. Gets it outside. Now it was more better on the blocking front there, but again commits. This one was the Wildcat
wide zone. I'm telling you, wide zone is going to be. So far, this has been the play of the game, and I think it's because of how wide they are. They're like, you know what? You're going to play that wide. We just cover you up, and our running back's got to make a play. I think that's Swift. Like, that was Swift running it. He's good. It was
a Wildcat for Swift, yeah.
See, he did a lot of motions. I just didn't see a lot of the shifts. Like, the motions were happening.
Yeah.
I just remember in Seattle, and I could be wrong, I thought he shifted a lot more in his offense. I thought he wanted to get more unbalanced looks and all that stuff. That was miscommunication by the O-line, right?
Yeah,
there.
I think I'm good what I've seen so far. But yeah, you can tell. So I guess here's the question: is how do you translate what we saw today and in the film? How does this translate to adjusting for a Texans?
Well, if I was a good podcast guy, I would have watched the Texans defensive film if I was a good guy.
Oh, you.
But I think now, before we say anything, I know Doomsday's banged up. Like, he probably not even going to play.
He most likely won't play.
His knee is messed up. I think Moore will be okay. I do think you'll see Cole Kmet more in the game. I wasn't 100% sure the game plan coming into this where he wasn't in like all of these snaps. Mm-hmm. And Everett was in there for more of the run plays, and people are saying that Cole Kmet's a better blocker than he is. But I know that's been one of the downfalls of Cole Kmet throughout his career is blocking. But I thought last year he was a better blocker than he had been in the past. So I don't know if that's why he wasn't in. I don't know if he's secretly banged up and he's not telling anybody or what it was, or they just wanted to do a lot of. See, here's the other problem. When you have all these weapons, you think they should all be on the field at one time, but how do you make everybody happy, right? Like,
well, I think that they do. I think it called a lot more 3, 4, 5 receiver set. There's a lot more 4 or 5 receiver sets than I expected. So they are trying, no doubt about it. If we're talking personnel, by the way, and I agree with some folks, I wish that Roschon Johnson was in and not inactive, and it was Homer that was inactive. That's a personal preference, but coaching staff does what they want to do. Carter, I felt like had an okay game, but if we're talking like the receiver screen game, they used him a few of these, or Ty Scott. These are guys that are not what I should be seeing out there blocking in these scenarios. You need big, bulky guys. You need like Debo Samuels out there that have a bit of muscle on them to go out there and do that thing.
I think Moore can block, but I know that's not his strength. I think he can do it.
I think he could do it. I just don't think that they want him to do it. I think they want him to be the weapon, which is fair.
And I think Keenan Allen can block, but I know he wasn't 100% coming into the game. I know he had his foot thing, and then it got a little worse. George says our O-line is suspect. I said that after the game, but when you watch the film, I'm not saying they're perfect.
Interior line is suspect. It's not
the interior.
It's not the edges.
Yes, the interior line is suspect. But when you watch the film, they weren't as bad as initial reacted. I'm not saying they're good, but I also think they started out better than they started out last year. Like, I think we're in a better spot besides the center. The center is...
I think team-wise we are. I still, offensively, I'm to be determined. I still a little disappointed in the start for the year offensively if we're comparing year over year.
Right. I'm not saying the O-line's perfect, and I'm like, you probably played line, I play line, so it's a little dear to me. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're as bad as everybody was saying right after the game. Like, they were really like the O-line this, the O-line that. And I'm not saying it's perfect. They are getting bull rushed and pushed back at times, but
you know what I do want to see him do at the line. So we all are in agreement. Colton Shelton should not be starting next week. If he is, then that's a failure.
Yes. Some must be really
it's a failure personnel wise.
Right. Something's got to be really wrong with the other alignment if he's still going.
I think you have two viable options based on what I watched on film that you should do. Part of it relies on one of the guys they traded for that was sounding like it was going to be a viable part of this deal was, I think either A, you take a crack at Doug Kramer, you put and commit to Ryan Bates at guard for an entire game, and then leave Jenkins, Jones, and Wright in their respective positions. You roll with that group. Or, and hear me out, it'd be a little hard on short term, but remember, Bates does have specialty at center as well. That was one of the things they brought him in for, was maybe we have some depth at center. So here's the other tactic, but I think it would take another week to do this because I think you want to get these guys antiquated a bit more than just a 1 week. Maybe I'm wrong. They did have a whole training camp. So what do I know? The other option is Bates goes in as your starting center. You put Nate Davis in as your guard, stick with the rest. One way or another, you have a guard and a center that need to be fixed, and you need to figure out what you're doing. The guard one's simple. It's basically just pick one guy, stick with one guy the entire game.
Yep.
If he doesn't perform well, flip to the other guy, and unfortunately, you do it on a game-by-game basis. Don't do it mid-game. I don't like that, unless it's injury, which is just because it's necessity. The center, it's an absolute you have to fix. It's the most crucial part right now. That production yet on last Sunday is not acceptable. You have to make an adjustment. That is the lone one. If you do anything this week, somebody else needs to at least step on the field to start Sunday night. That's it.
Do you want me to make you happy?
Sure.
It says Ryan Bates is questionable.
That's not making me happy. I mean, it makes me say that Davis is going to play, but it doesn't make me happy. I want Bates to possibly take that role in the center spot.
Well, you're getting there. If he's listed questionable, it's getting there.
I guess he gets a little time away. I don't like hearing that he's questionable.
Let's look at
that's what you got to work with. So you got to
work with the depth chart. Oh, Coleman Shelton's still number one.
Well, we'll give it a second. Let's let them release their roster for the game later this week.
But I actually can't believe this. Like, most people, like shows and podcasts, said the same thing. So we're all kind of in agreement to that. Is that we need to upgrade the center. Pick your lineman without him in it and just stick with it. Because the more you move people around, the more they don't have cohesiveness, the more breakdown you're going to see. And stop blaming the O-line for this game. It wasn't as bad as we all thought.
There were select plays, but yes, I think that a little bit better than I was expecting in some regard.
George knocked it out of the park here. Very few teams click on all cylinders the first game of the season. And you forgot, especially with a rookie quarterback and a new running back and a new wide receiver and another new wide receiver.
I think this actually goes farther than just ours. I thought last week in the NFL was like the majority of QB play felt kind of ugly. Like there were very few standout quarterback performances last week.
Yeah, there's
like
really
these. Like, I mean, Baker Mayfield was one of them that was out there. Matthew Stafford was in a losing effort for the most part against the Lions. But I mean, there's a lot of like lower, at least I would say not as high profile and flashy quarterback play. Maybe Anthony Richardson and CJ Stroud with that duel. But I can't like go out there and say that it was that it was a big explosive offensive week. Kind of feels like that's the trend too, since preseason's been so devalued recent years as a starting offensive tool for many quarterbacks. So just wonder if it's just a trend. We're just going to see week one every year now just be kind of like pseudo down for a lot of these teams compared to recent years. I just remember like a decade ago, we'd have it where it felt like these guys were tuned up and ready to go. Now with them being rested and trying to stick away from contact, it feels like now we're getting the rust off like for like a week and a half to 2 weeks.
Hold on, Titan D tackle beast. Texas weaker in the middle. Texas got defensive end, so you might can get away from this week. Yeah, so basically, Titans defense isn't as bad as we think.
No,
I thought they were very good. And
now, if we're talking Texans defense, and credit, I didn't think the game flow was going to make it look like this, but something that did catch my eye. Jonathan Taylor for his day rushing on the ground, 16 carries, 48 yards, only 3 yards a clip.
So Anthony Richardson had to run the ball more.
Yeah. So Richardson did, 6 for 56. So, but to be fair, Richardson is that type of player where as Williams is much more so trying to be a pocket passer more often than not. Something to keep in mind, they're going to have a little bit more uphill sledding again this week in the run game department.
Right.
Which the hope, though, is that the Texans are giving some more zones and more areas to get passes where they can get some offense generated. I feel like there's a good chance. I felt like Houston showed some opportunities for Chicago to get better in the air department. Comes down to Fields slowing down and getting some reads and getting this chemistry down a bit better too.
Right. For the Bears defense, Joe Mixon had 30 carries, which for the Texans, he had 30 carries. He had 159 yards of rushing. They had 213 total on the ground. So for the Bears defense, they really going to have to try to stop the run. The Bears defense did look good. So, and then CJ Stroud was sacked 4 times. So they need to somehow this week really try to say, okay, if he's gotten sacked 4 times, I'd have to watch the film and see how the O-line did. But if they can say, okay, he got sacked 4 times, if we can really put pressure on the Texans O-line and bring blitzes and do all the stuff and build off of what we did week 1 versus the Titans and be physical with the wide receivers, because Collins had 117 yards in the air with only 6 catches. But I think the Bears defense proved that they are going to rally to the football. They can force turnovers, and they actually got a little bit more pressure. And again, pressure does not mean always getting sacks. It means making the quarterback uncomfortable. You saw that with Caleb Williams. When they made him uncomfortable, he did struggle, and that's every quarterback. You make them uncomfortable. So I think the Bears defense is going to have to feast on that and say, okay, how can we get him uncomfortable? Can we play fast and try to throw the receivers off their route, but also churn and try to stop the run? So they got a lot on their plate to try to, but I think we have the defense players to do that. And I think we have to be okay. If the Bears get a win, we have to be okay with looking at the stats and saying CJ Stroud had 200 yards, 250 yards passing. And we're going to have to be okay seeing that a rusher got 100 yards, as long as they don't score points. We're no longer in the day and age of we have to hold them to 0. We have to hold them to this. They can get all the yards they want, but as long as they don't score. And I think that's what the Bears defense can be is, you know what, we are going to give up a play here or so because we're being very aggressive.
Well, Lovie Smith thrived on that under his tenure for years, was bend, don't break. That was like preaching. That was how his defense preached, was bend, don't break. One item I'm identifying, by the way. And this is something that came up in this first half against Tennessee. and I'll be honest, Tennessee kind of played themselves out of this game style later on. Is Tennessee, I think, did a great job first half offensively, managing the clock, playing keep away, and methodically moving downfield. Houston, as you said, Joe Mixon had a hell of a day, 5.5 yards a tote. Remember, Tony Pollard was having a stellar first half.
Yep.
And some reason, I don't understand why, the Titans completely abandoned the run. Like without any rhyme or reason, completely abandoned what was the most successful part of their offense that day. And not that I'm concerned entirely, but if Houston gets into that game style, which, part of the reason they were able to do what they were doing against Indianapolis is they did have a very balanced attack. So if Joe Mixon gets warm and they're able to just ground and pound and say Houston doesn't have to rely on trying to get CJ Stroud to get picking and choosing to beat a pretty decent secondary we have, that's going to spell some trouble, because then you're going to have guys sneaking up and trying to buy onto the run. That's when, of course, you sell run, you get run. It buys a chance to get better at the pass. You can't let Mixon get going. I think that's going to be so vital, because Tennessee, I think, exposed that. And I felt like they did a poor job continuing to pound that in the second half. I don't expect that from the Texans with DeMeco Ryans, who they do take chances, and they are very good at adjusting on the fly. Much better, at least more veteran coaching staff in that regard. Yes. So really, I think Joe Mixon might be the key to where you can then open up and get, like, say, maybe you see Darnell Taylor keep going on his progression. Maybe we can get more pressures up front, but you can't let a balanced attack happen. I think that's going to be very vital. Only one side of the ball can really be what's being told to attack this defense.
Right. And I agree with all that. It's going to be a tough, this is not the Texans of the past,
Well, no, not at all.
Anderson Jr. and Hunter coming for Caleb. I love this name, Thanos Heisenberg.
That's a wonderful, that is a wonderful avatar, sir.
That's awesome.
One of the best.
That's awesome.
That's one of the best.
I mean, speaking of that, the Bears are going to have to pass protect way better than what they did.
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson only got sacked twice, but he ran the ball for 6 times, whether those were design runs or those he took off. You're quite welcome, sir. That's awesome. I had to put it back up. I love it because I'm a big Marvel guy and I was a big Breaking Bad guy. Love it.
Fantastic. It's fantastic.
I want to highlight your comment, but it's not Bears friendly, so I'm not going to. But I do love the picture there. Your comment is way better than the Ghost of Judah tribe. But Judah tribe, I appreciate you commenting on it though.
Anyway.
And Richardson's short tenure, he hasn't been sacked much. 2 is pretty good.
I mean, keep in mind, Richardson also got knocked out really early last year. So, like, short tenure is even not emphasizing enough, quite frankly.
Yeah. So the defense got their hands full, and then, of course, we've watched a ton of offensive film. Basically it's – I mean, go first. What the offense?
Well, I mean, offensively, so this is actually something that I found interesting as well if we're looking back at Houston – playing Indianapolis. So you do realize Richardson only completed 9 passes on the day
for 212 yards.
Right. And sure, now that's fair, but lest we forget how consistently he was able to get long balls down the field. 2 of his 9 were for 50 plus yards.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying that this is going to work again, but Pierce was able to have a pretty solid day against this Houston Texans secondary. 125 total, 3 catches.
Mm-hmm.
I think the long ball is going to be available again, based on what I am seeing. Now it comes down to execution. Do you get the jitters out from week 1, and do you start landing these passes that I think will be available?
Mm-hmm.
If Richardson can knock this down, credit, one of them was a glorious 60-yard throw that was off his back foot, but still, that's not every quarterback. What I saw was deep coverage can be beat on a consistent level. Can you exploit that? I think you can. And I think that's what Chicago's going to have to do, because Houston has, I feel, a pretty decent run defense. Can you exploit the deep passing game?
Yep.
And get something generated that way? Or maybe pick up tempo, and then when you're getting them caught off guard with the up tempo, that's when you strike deep. I would love to see something like that.
Yeah, just a couple clips of Houston. They run a 4-2-5. That's going to be very similar to what we just saw with the Texans. I think the D line up front for Houston is going to be a little more faster, and they're going to try to cause more havoc. But I do think they have to get some type of run game going more than what they did. I think we're going to have to see heavier sets. We're going to have to see some of those things. And like you said, if we can get the play action down off of that, get the tight ends involved in the catch game to take pressure off the receivers, that's just going to open up that deep ball even more. And I think keep heavy sets, you can keep one tight end to help pass protect too. So you could send a running back out, keep a tight end to pass set, and do things to make Caleb Williams more comfortable than what he was in the last game. So and they got to get the run game going. Like, wide zone's going to work, but if that's all you're doing, they're going to find a way to take it away. So what's your next comeback to that? So maybe you're going to see more of a downhill. I think Richardson's a better deep thrower than any part of the field. That's his game, running and deep shots. I agree. He's kind of like Cam Newton, where he's got a strong arm. He can run.
That's all I've compared to him to since last year with the limited play. He's a Cam Newton archetype. Strong arm, big boy, can run over people if you need him to. You know, he throws lasers. That's exactly what the game is. You know,
right.
They're not always going to be soft. They're generally these really fast thrown balls or really far down the field type of throws.
Right.
You know? Not always ideal, but you can throw them deep.
What do y'all think is the best game plan? What the game plan should be? I say get Caleb going. QB better than the Colts. They showed us, and yeah. Well, like we said, I think you have to go up tempo when needed. So if you get a first down, immediately go no huddle, get up to the line, kind of let it happen. And if you get a positive play out of it, let's say it's 3 or 4 yards, up tempo it again. Now, if you up tempo it and you get stuck at the line or it's an incomplete pass, go back to your huddle. And you don't have to do up tempo the entire time. I think people get that confused. Like NFL, you can't do up tempo the entire game. This is not college where you got to snap the ball in 12 seconds. If it's the first drive, let's say they get a first down, like it's 1st and 10, it takes 3 plays to get a first down. Go no huddle right then and there and just get up to the line, run a quick play, get Caleb comfortable. And then if you get 3 to 4 yards, do it again. And then maybe after that, do it one more time, or you could huddle it up depending on what happens. And just do that from time to time, not every drive. I wonder if Caleb was checking stuff at the line. Maybe that's something they have to explore and like, hey, here's the checks for the first game. Maybe they got to open it up a little bit and let Caleb know, like, here's the plays you can check to. Like, I think and all that stuff comes with time. And so against Houston, we got to see some more of that, heavy sets. I think deep balls. They got to get the O-line figured out. And once that happens, I think they'll be okay. Because Houston's going to run a similar defense. They're going to play a little bit more quarters where when you're motioning a guy, they're going to roll a guy down. There'll be man on the backside, and they're going to have cover 3 on the other side. Like, that's just kind of what they're going to do. And I think you have to have long sustaining drives to keep CJ Stroud on the sideline. So even though the deep ball
is very vital, I'm telling you.
So we have to be able to. I think Caleb was nervous. He said he doesn't get nervous, but he certainly played. Like, I agree. Like, everybody was talking about that. Like, I think he was. And you know what? It's okay if he was nervous. We're human. You're the NFL. Like, I know you played in some big games with USC, but you're going to be nervous because, again, what have we said about the Bears? Expectations are so freaking high that if it's not perfect every play, we're all going to freak out. With this defense, we'll be in every game. Yeah, if we're healthy.
I agree. Just don't have consistent days where we're only having 148 yards or below 150 a game. Can't have historically bad days over and over again. Not everyone. This is a different era than, say, winning like the 2000 Baltimore Ravens. You can't just have a good enough offense anymore. It has to be somewhat volatile. Maybe
this was the first time he was nervous. He was probably nervous his freshman year or whatever at Oklahoma to get into a game. But college is a little different. But you're right. This is probably the first time for real that he was nervous. Preseason, I think he knew he was the starter and it didn't matter. And maybe that's why But again, the more Caleb plays and the more he sees these defenses and what they're going to do outside of college, it's going to be fine. But Houston's going to be a very tough test. You have to worry about the pass game. You got to worry about the run game. So what do we think is going to happen with this game?
Okay. What are we going to think's happening? Correct. You want me to get my score here? Is this what we're doing too right now?
Sure.
Okay. We'll do scores again. Since you were very close last week, we'll do it again. So, look, I'll be frank. I think that it's going to really be based on who manages clock, who controls the ball most. And offensively, if Chicago can do anything that is not going to add on, that is not going to at least be quick 3 and outs, or not going to at least get off the field fast, that's going to be detrimental. While Tennessee decided to bail on their game plan that was working and running the ball and basically bullying the interior line, you can't. Houston's just not going to. I just don't see them doing the same thing. You saw with Joe Mixon. If they have ways to run on you, they're going to do it. If they feel it's not going to work, they've got a really damn good passing attack, even more so with a quarterback that has much more pedigree in his second year than Will Levis does. And I believe what's going to have to happen is Chicago's got to get pressure early and often, or they commit to stopping the run to allow it to where they just say CJ either takes over or we take over in this regard, getting pressure. Dangerous game, but it's going to have to be that way. I'd rather you do that than suffer a insurmountable time of possession clock management game where Joe Mixon just keeps chipping yards off you as you go down the field. So in that regard, and again, Thanos Heisenberg highlighting what I said, they had for 40 minutes against the Colts. That is going to be freaking ridiculous if Chicago is on the field that long. So I got it going. I don't think Houston gets to 30 personally. I've got them winning 27-14. I think Chicago does get 2 scores on the board. I think they have more offensive success through the air. I still don't trust this offense enough from what I saw in week 1. Maybe I'll be proven wrong, but I think that they have to work some kinks out, and I think Shane Waldron needs to figure out what he wants offensively. Again, I see you've convinced me of the wide zone, Steve, but I feel like they have been completely lackluster using zone and interior runs, and I think that needs to be addressed, and they needed to consider what they have on personnel for that. As for the passing attack, just get some consistency down. If you want to do it speedy, fine. If you want to find more reads and kind of have him check to where he needs to, that's okay. I don't think they get the win this game, and I think that they're going to be more using this as a learning curve. So 27-14, Houston walks away. It's the second of 4 games in the opening season tough stretch of games I felt that we were going to start with.
So you're going with the Bears losing. If Allen and Dudes are out, it's going to be really bad. Yeah.
I mean, Doomsday is going to be out. I almost guarantee that, the way they've talked with week to week.
If the Bears are healthy and they can slow down the scoring part of the Texans, I'm okay with the yards. If they can stop the scoring, if the Bears offense can just figure out who they are they the run team? Are they the pass team? Are they going to be more heavy that way?
Mm-hmm.
Caleb Williams is going to be – this is his first road game too, and it's going to be loud. It's in a dome. It's going to be loud. Can he be comfortable? And I think he'll be more comfortable. I think they're going to look back at it and say, look, he's really good in the short passing game, getting rid of the ball quick. We have to do that. I think we're going to have to protect a little more, figure out the O-line. I wanted to say the Bears were going to lose, but I'm going to go with 24-21 Bears.
Okay, then.
Because I have a feeling that the Bears defense will score just somehow. I don't know why. I just feel like they're going to. I can see Caleb getting the offense getting at least 2 touchdowns. I just think it's going to have to.
I mean, I like our defense too, but like keep in mind the trend last year was any quarterback that was like top 15 could carve up the secondary with the freaking flick of their wrist. So that's, I mean, sure. I think I just don't trust that. That's the thing. I Will Levis is not there yet at all, if ever. So that's my thing.
Yeah. But I'm going to be positive and go 24-21 Bears. And when I'm wrong, I will come back on here and say I'm wrong.
Oh, but if you aren't, though, then you get to laugh at me.
Yes, but we're switching roles. See, last year I kept saying the Bears were going to lose, and you kept saying they were going to win. Now we're going to flip-flop.
Oh, well.
George asked this good question. He asked a very, very good question. Are you guys going to do a post-game show? We do our best.
The answer is tentatively yes, unless provoked otherwise.
Now, it is a Sunday night game, so we're going to see what our lives are like.
Right. That's the thing.
If we don't do it right after the game, we do our best to do it the next day, if that helps George.
I would say within 24 hours is a good bet.
Now, George, if it's a noon game, for sure we're going to try to do it right after. But when it's a Sunday night game and I'm old and Zach works for a living, it's very hard.
Right. We both work. Hey, now we both work for a living. Let's pump the brakes here.
You have a real job. I don't have a real job.
Oh, hey now. Coaching's real. Coaching's a real job. Come on now. Come on.
You don't stream during the Bears game? No, because I want Zach to go enjoy himself and watch the game. I want to enjoy myself and watch the game. Maybe one day we decide to do that. But I don't think you can stream the game on YouTube without getting flagged.
We could do a sidecast, but look, I got a place where I have tall glass Coors Lights in my future. Wish they were old styles, but man can only get this what he wants out here in Arizona. So I got those. And by the way, Steve, I have to say this: the place I found last week, which was by accident because the Bears bar I usually go to was overflowed 15 minutes to game. So I went to this new spot. Best mozzarella cheese sticks I have ever found in my life. They're not these frozen crappy ones or anything. They were hand rolled mozzarella cheese sticks. You could tell there was a seam where the batter and the breading was. The best I've ever had. Amazing. It is a lone reason for me to go back. Along with the fact that I was sitting next to a Jaguars fan and a Chiefs fan talking about their games at the same time, as I watched the Jaguars fan's soul disappear from his body slowly over the course of 4 quarters, and especially when Travis Etienne fumbled into the end zone, which probably would have sealed the deal.
Hey, did you tell him we feel that all the time as Bears fans over the few years?
I know, because he also apparently, as I asked him this man picks between Chicago and Jacksonville every week because he's also part of Bears fan because he lived up near Chicago for a long time.
Oh God, so he's got to be a Jaguars fan.
Oh yes, he has double misery complex going on.
Hello, Paper. Thanks for being here and making comments. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and thank you for this. Honestly, great chat today. This is one of the most vocal chats we've had since I've been doing this show with you.
George, hope the orange uniforms give us good luck. I know. I hope they do too.
Here's my thing. So I want you to ask. So I'm going to run with this because I know you don't like this jersey now. But would it be better if they went back to the 2006 blue helmet, orange jersey combo? Because I think the helmet's the problem. The orange jerseys I love. I love these jerseys. I just hate the orange helmet.
See, I like the orange helmet. I just don't know if it goes with all orange. You know, I don't
want to look like I'm a fruit. As in a fruit or as in an orange. I'm not saying something that is off kilter. By the way, don't take my words that way, please. But you know what I'm talking about.
I like the orange jerseys. I really do. I would love an orange jersey.
Wait a minute. What's wrong with this jersey? Hang on. We got to pause now. I have questions. What's wrong with this jersey?
Did I say something was wrong with it?
You said last week. You said last week when I came on the show, he's got the right jersey on this time.
Oh, no, I think I said the white jersey. Maybe I said it was
no, you didn't say white jersey.
I have a country twang. Like, nobody knows.
All right. I'll give you a pass. I
like the orange jerseys. I really do. Like the Brian Urlacher jerseys from back then. Love it. Like those are so you're right. I do love the old school. Like I wasn't a fan. Like the throwback blue ones they do. Those are getting old. Like I don't know why I'm the only one that doesn't like them.
Oh, are you talking the Monsters of the Midway unis?
Yeah.
With the single color helmets.
I like the blue helmet with the orange jersey. I do like the blue helmet with the orange jersey.
Well, it brings back that era of Bears football, like the 06 season, because like there were some really good games and moments from that year with those jerseys in particular.
Yes.
Like I think of the San Francisco matchup where it just completely steamrolled them that year defensively.
Yes.
And I don't know. I feel like a blue helmet would look better with the orange, but that they clearly want the orange out thing. Some people actually like them, which I'm like, okay, fine. I don't, but to each their own. So I don't know. In terms of the helmet, like the combo, I like this. I don't like the orange. That's all I got to tell you.
Yes. Now, what's your opinion on the orange helmet, orange jersey, white pants?
I mean, you know what? Probably would look better with blue pants with the navy.
Maybe too. Now,
I think with the navy, it would actually look great. That and the helmet combined with the orange in the middle, I think it would look fantastic.
That would be a better combo than like the all orange. Now,
I
orange
see
top, you top orange pants, you got to go blue helmet. I think.
All right. Now I wore this last week, so I got to ask thoughts on the 1936 retros. Some people don't like these things like dead right. They feel it's like a Michigan ripoff.
Oh, yeah. I like those.
Which to that now I say, look at the Giants throwbacks because that is straight up.
That was terrible.
Yeah, those are horrible. I hate that combo. Even more so now that it's the winged helmet with red. Like it looks like Michigan, but like from an evil universe.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't mind those jerseys. The white ones. I like the white ones of it. The blue ones, not as much. The white ones, love it.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I said, remember last week I said your jersey was better than mine on Sunday. I said your white jersey was better.
I wore the white jersey, but I remember, maybe I'm mishearing you. I swore you said you didn't like my mean orange.
I would never
pain train jersey.
I would never say that.
Okay.
Never.
I trust you. You are my friend and colleague.
Yes, the Giants uniforms were terrible. While you all are here, can you subscribe to help us out, please?
Also, while you are all here, I'm going to drop this in the chat. Let me get that out. As you set this up, and I'm going to get the invite. Yeah, Discord server.
We have a Bears Down Discord server. We can talk about Bears all day, every day. Unless I'm coaching, then I will not answer you for like 4 days.
Here, I'm going to put this. This is my own personal account. You'll see me at, guys. Chat with us on Discord. That's also invited to the folks on Twitch. I'm doing this via our YouTube or your YouTube. But yeah, that link right there should send you to the Bear Down Discord where we are chatting Bears football often if you use Discord. Otherwise, definitely subscribe here to the Coach Steve Show for more Bear Down. And if you like the Illini football, you should definitely subscribe because we get a double whammy. Because Steve does a great job covering the Illini. And Eastern Illinois, by the way, too.
Yeah, Eastern Illinois I'm slacking on because I'm old and tired, and I go to bed at like 8:30 every night.
Yeah. Triple coverage, though. Cover 3, as I'd call it.
But yeah, if you guys can subscribe to the YouTube channel, that would help me out and help Zach out. Oh, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. God bless it. I'm going to tag you all on my channel and start putting timer on your videos to reach more people. I appreciate you.
Oh, George is asking. Oh, man, now you're getting everything. George's asking, how do we donate?
I haven't gotten that far. I keep pointing. I don't know why.
You're getting so many things checked off. This is this has to be the biggest stream I've had doing this Bear Down with you.
You guys are the best. And how do you donate? Well, I mean, I take personal credit cards. You could send that to me through the mail. I haven't gotten that far. Venmo me, Cash App me, send me a DM.
We'll talk. By my recommendation, join the Discord, follow us along, subscribe to this channel. I didn't put the Cash App up. I guess you can do that.
Oh God. How do I do that? I'm panicking. I'm panicking under the pressure.
It's okay. Prep for next week. All of you, we would love to see you next week, as well as for the post game. If you want alternatives to some of your some of the usual spin doctors in the Bears space, we got you here, right here on Bear Down. That's how I view it.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. I think I figured it out. Maybe. My phone's not loading. Everybody calm down. I said everybody calm down. There it is. I put it in the chat. There we go.
Hey, there it goes. So you can donate there. That helps the channel.
Just go to the studio they show you.
Studio. Have you been to YouTube Studio, Steve?
Oh, yeah.
That's what he's meaning as well.
I was going to say, this is my studio. I'm in my basement.
Yeah, I mean, we have our studios. Use YouTube Studio. That's what I'm telling you.
Well, see, guys, I never thought I'd get this far, so I just kind of left it alone. But yeah, appreciate all you guys. Like I said, like and subscribe. Zach's stuff is always in the bio, too. He has his own stuff with football, so check that out.
You like Arena Football? You should check that out. Arena Football 1. It's coming back in 2025.
And also the X stuff is down below on the picture, so always DM if you want all that stuff. Join the Discord too, because I started a Bear Down one, and I have not been doing a good job trying to get it out there because I'm an asshole, and I just don't.
You knock yourself too much.
Well, I'm just so like, guys, my brain is always just. There's the Discord. So you guys join the Bear Down one.
I think you're tired. You sound tired.
Guys, I'm tired. Guys, I get up at 5 a.m. and I don't get home till like 7.
Yeah.
But there's Discord. It's Bear Down, or I would love to get that going and just discuss Bear stuff and just keep going with it.
But yeah, we'll keep sharing that, guys, and follow us on social. And again, we'll keep you posted. Tentatively expect us within 24 hours after next week's game to try and get a show live to you. That's what you should expect.
Most of the time, if it's noon, we'll try to do it shortly after. If it's not going to be done Sunday night, hopefully Mondays would be when it's happening.
Right. Which
allows us to reflect a little more and soak it in, especially if it's a loss. Like we get to soak it in a little bit. But
looks like next week too. We'll try and maybe we'll split up the divvies. You take the offensive film for the Bears, and I will take the game opponent's film.
You're damn right, because defense sucks. I don't want to watch defense.
We got a good defense. I think we're short up there is all I can say.
All right. Well, thanks everybody watching or listening. Like and subscribe. Check it out on Spotify, Apple. X is on there. Check out the description. All that good stuff. What does this guy say? Consistency is key. Oh, I appreciate that. Appreciate that. I know. Guys, I know. Shut up.
Don't worry. We'll be doing our best. Tentatively expect us back post game this week. That's what we'll give you.
Yes, and we try to do that. Then we'll try to do a pregame, but the pregame like tonight always happens probably a little bit before Sunday because I don't want Zach to rush to try to do it on a Sunday. Enjoy yourself. I don't want to rush to do it before. It's just not what I'm about. I'd rather people watch the game, and then talk about it after. And that's why
you worry about me too much. It's all good.
No, it's true. I don't want to make you do it at 9 a.m. and then try to go like, no, we're not doing that. We're about.
All right. It's okay.
I have to watch college football on Saturday, so it just makes it even.
Yeah, again, got to get the Illini. Possibly soon to be ranked Illini if things keep going the way they are.
If they beat Central Michigan, they might get ranked. So yeah, that'd be fun.
Maybe.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. Do all that stuff. We'll see you.